Hi, it's Charles again with an entry for the 19th of April 2014. Um, and today I'm going to talk about fears, specifically one fear that I have recently. Um, I'm sure by now you know that I have Wilson's disease. A lot of my videos have been about it, and it's been a big part of my life recently. So one of my greatest fears about Wilson's disease is that it's going to it's obviously already changed who I am because it's something that major that I've had to deal with, and so I'm pretty sure it's probably changed aspects of my personality. But there's one part that I enjoyed about my personality before Wilson's disease that I hope doesn't disappear, and that was when a lot of my motivation was to do things was just let's do it, like the hell with it, let's give it a try, let's fucking you think this might work, let's do it, let's see what it happens. And it's kind of like I was kind of a little bit risky in my personal life and even in my professional life, like a kind of like a fucking, you want to see if this project comes to fruition, let's give it a shot, let's try it out. Just like, hey, like the worst that happens is that we fail and we can always, make amends, we can clean it up, or we can, set it back to the way it was, or we could try something else and try and get that to work. But I like that part about myself. It was like, hey, like you want to go here? We won't get much sleep. Fucking, we might have to pull an all-nighter and go to work in the morning. It's just like, fuck it, that might be fun. Let's do it. And I liked that part about myself. I liked it a lot because it was exciting, it was adventurous, and it was like, it was, it was courageous, and it made me feel kind of like a risk taker, and it made, it made my life exciting at times. And I'm worried that Wilson's disease is going to take a lot of that away because now it's like fucking let's do it, but how is it going to interact with my Wilson's disease? So it's like fucking let's go here, it might be an all-nighter, but now it's just like shit, dude, am I going to be able to wake up because that's going to beat the shit out of me in the morning? Or fucking let's go on this road trip, and it's just like, oh my god, now I have to make sure that I have my medication. I have to make sure fucking, that there are more bathrooms along the way in case my medication, makes me have to go to the bathroom more. And I have to make sure this, blah, blah, blah. I have to make sure I get enough sleep because it's a lot harder for me to wake up now in the morning. And it's just like, now instead of kind of like a carefree attitude of like, let's go, let's do it, it's kind of like there's an apprehension to my personality now where everything that I used to be able to just like, let's do it. Now it's just like fucking, I have to weigh it against so many more consequences, and it fucking sucks. I'm gonna say it right off the bat. It sucks, dude. I mean, everybody says that fucking when you get older, shit like that changes. You become more of an adult, your body starts, getting a little bit older. But for everybody, it normally happens gradually. Fucking you start to slow down a little bit, then you fucking maybe the knees aren't as, strong or something like that, or maybe the back gets a little tight, or maybe all of a sudden you can't lift that much, but it doesn't hit a wall like it did with me. Like I remember when we used to have this dog named Ernie, and Ernestine was her full name. She was female. And we had a dog, and she used to love running. She was like this powerhouse. She was very muscular, very strong. And then all of a sudden, she just hit a wall, and it was just like she just hit that wall, and she was never the same. And it turned out she had like some heavy sickness, like I think it was like dog diabetes, that unfortunately we caught too late, and the effects were already there, and she passed away. But I remember my brother and I just sitting around and just one day just being like, damn, dude, this fucking hit her hard, and all of a sudden she just hit a wall. It wasn't fucking gradual. Well, it was, obviously she didn't just one day she just couldn't walk, but I mean it wasn't over the course of months or years. There was this fucking one day she seemed like a fucking beast, and then the next day she just fucking wasn't. And I think that it's kind of been the same way for me. And I'm not gonna say I was a beast and toot my own horn, but I was active, and I was trying to live my life as a normal fucking 30-year-old, probably better than a 30-year-old. I have a physical job and I'm still capable of doing, or I was still capable of running around, probably outlifting and outworking a lot of the younger kids, and then all of a sudden I hit the Wilson's disease wall, and it just fucking it all changed. I had never experienced that. I felt like an old man in fucking 30. When you're in a mall, and then you got old men and fucking extremely out of shape people just lapping you, and at the stores, and you can barely fucking walk. It's just very hard to deal with. And one video or one day I'll probably make a video about how what it really makes you think. But fucking, I mean, it's groundbreaking. Unfortunately, it changes your whole personality. You lose it. Getting majorly sick all of a sudden is one of the most humbling. All of a sudden is one of the most humbling experiences probably anybody has to go through. Because fucking one minute you feel like you're on top of the world, and then the next you're just a number that it's taking up fucking space, and that the rest of the world, the good people of the world have sympathy for, but the world still turns, and fucking people still have to do their daily life, like live their lives. So it's like fucking if you're waiting in line at Target and you can fucking barely walk through, they're gonna have sympathy for you, like, oh, let him take his time. But there's still gonna be fucking people behind you waiting to be rung up, people getting impatient, and people. It's just like they understand that you're doing your best, but fucking the world still turns. Shit still has to get done, and unfortunately, I don't want to say that sick and old people get stepped on, but fucking you don't realize how much the world doesn't really, how little you matter in the world until shit like that gets just rubbed in your face. And I know fucking I matter to my family and all of that shit, and I know fucking, if something were to happen to me, there would be, heartbroken. So I'm not trying to say like nobody cares about me. So I'm not trying to put forth that like, oh fucking I'm on my own in this world or anything like that. I mean, I have good people in my family, and fucking I'm not trying to say that they don't exist. I mean, they've been very supportive of me, and I greatly appreciate that. But there's still a very, very humbling experience to it. I mean, when you're a youngish guy like me, I won't say I'm a young guy, but when you're youngish, you think that you can, make a difference in the world, that you're going to do something special. And then when you realize that when you in essence kind of get taken out of it, and you realize that fucking there's little to no difference when you are, inside of it. It's kind of it's very humbling. It's very drastic to you. Like I thought I was fucking gonna do something. I thought I was making a difference. Fucking a big part of people's lives, and then I got taken out of it, and I saw how little fucking shit changed, and how people were still had to live their lives, and people were still doing what they had to do, and you realize how little you fucking make a difference. And for me, that's been something fucking very hard to deal with. I mean, obviously, I didn't think I was going to be fucking some kind of Egyptian pharaoh and, build a pyramid that was going to last fucking thousands of years. But it's just, you realize that kind of like the world is, or you realize that the major thing in your world should be, you know, just to enjoy yourself. I mean, that feels very self-centered, but I'm gonna tell you straight up, fucking, this is probably kind of dark, but you don't matter. I mean, I know that there's one comedian, I think his name is, yeah, I believe it's Louis C.K. who talks about, you know, that fucking people think that they matter, but they don't matter. And that's kind of it. But I mean, back to my initial initial topic, which is the fear that, you know, fucking, you know, my one aspect, when the risk taking aspect of my personality, it's fucking, I'm worried that I'm going to lose it, you know, because now I have to be a lot more apprehensive. So for it seems like a lot of the fun, and the adventurous and the courageous part of my personality is fucking, it's being whittled away. And I mean, I do as much as I can, but like I said, the medication, it's a leash. It's a heavy, heavy leash. And, you know, fucking twice a day, it just yanks me back to fucking reality as hard as it can, and it makes me, I have to take it. And the hard part is obviously, I'm not sure if I've said this in a previous video, but it has to be refrigerated. So, fucking, if it was just straight up popping some pills, it would be one thing. But the fact that medication has to be stored and refrigerated makes it a lot harder. Because now you have to have refrigeration. I mean, fucking, I want to go over to a friend's house or something for the weekend. I have to bring my medication. I have to make sure that, you know, the trip isn't too long so that it doesn't, you know, heat up in the car or something, or when I'm walking there. And then I have to make sure it's promptly refrigerated. You know, so it's just, so if I want to go away for like a weekend, I have to, you know, I can't just fucking go, I can't just road trip and sleep in a car, because I need that shit and I need to make sure it's fucking, it's refrigerated. So, I mean, fucking, I have friends who are just like, dude, let's go here. And I'm just like, dude, I have to take my medication and fucking, it's not going to be refrigerated. So it's just like, fuck, dude, I can't go now because I need that, obviously, because it doesn't suit the requirements of my medication. And that fucking sucks, dude. Because a lot of, you wouldn't realize it until you start to fucking think about your vacations. I mean, it fucking sucks to go to a hotel and now you have to think about, how am I going to store my medication? Is there going to be, you know, fucking a refrigerator in the room slash suite? You know, can I put my shit in there? What about the mini bar? Is there going to be a mini bar? Is it going to be refrigerated? Can I put my medication in there? Or do I have to fucking, you know, I'm thinking about taking a trip, and it's like, now do I have to pay twice as much just to make sure my room has a little refrigerator so that I can put my medication in there? So it's like, maybe it would be better if I didn't go at all, because it would fucking, because who wants to pay, and you know, for a fucking a suite when all they really need is the bed, just because they need something to refrigerate their medication for. So I mean, it sucks. And fucking like the leash part of it, it's just fucking hard. Not to mention the fact that, you know, there's a medication timetable. You know, you, with my medication, you have to 2 hour, you can't eat anything 2 hours before you take it, and 1 hour afterwards. So, you know, I'll eat something and then fucking I will have to wait 2 hours, and then fucking I'll take the medication, and then, you know, I can't eat anything for an hour. And to a lot of people that doesn't seem like a big deal, you know, it's just fucking, oh, you know, after breakfast you fucking, you don't eat, you eat your breakfast and then you wait 2 hours and then fucking you take your medication, then you wait another hour and then it's time for lunch. But the thing is that you don't realize, fucking, you know, that's okay if you're a fucking teacher or something and you've got you've got a very rigid schedule, you know. But I mean, I work in retail, so the schedule is definitely not rigid. But yeah, I mean, so just think about, you know, think about you oversleep and then fucking you take your medication. Now what do? You have to skip breakfast, and then fucking, then you don't get breakfast and then you just wait till lunch. Or think about, or how about you oversleep, then you eat your breakfast, and now you're going to think, oh, in 2 hours I'll take my medication. But it turns out you're not going to be around a refrigerator for the next fucking 3 hours, so we'll say. So then you're just like, fuck, dude, what do I do now then? I can't, you know, I have to, my medication has to be refrigerated. It can't sit outside for 2 hours, so I can't put it in my pocket. So it's just like, fucking, now what do I do? Because I already screwed myself because I already ate breakfast. So a lot of the time, it's just like, fucking, I don't eat breakfast, which, to be honest, is not good for, it's not good for anybody, but it's also not good for me. It's especially not good for me or somebody who's, you know, kind of weakish in a sense. But, I mean, that's beside the point. That's fucking, that's a topic for a different video. But, basically, yeah, I mean, this video is just talking about fucking, it sucks how much, you know, it sucks how much risk that you think is just, you know, fun and games and, you know, fucking, you know, let's do it, you know, let's fucking, let's try it out, let's see what happens. And it's just like, fucking, you can't do that shit anymore. I mean, before I'd fucking, I'd feel like doing something work, it's just like, you know, let's organize the whole downstairs, and I just fucking do it. Now it's just like, fucking, I want to do it, and it's just like, I don't know if I can do that because I have to work tomorrow in the morning, and that shit's gonna beat the shit out of me. So it's just like, before I could just do it and then I'd be fine in the morning. But now it's just like, I want to do something, but I have to hold myself back because I need to keep an energy reserve. Because I'm not as much of a powerhouse, or I'm not as much of a beast as before. And that fucking, that shit is, you know, it's kind of heartbreaking in a way, because it's, I mean, it's probably one of the more devastating things that I've ever faced. Just to be knocked off your block so thoroughly and so quickly and so cleanly that, you know, it kind of leaves you, it leaves you out of breath a little bit, you know. And I'm still recovering from it. I'm not gonna fucking, I'm not one of those people who's gonna say like, oh yeah, fucking, I'm a rock, you know, it didn't affect me, because it's affected me. And, you know, this is my this is my little video diary. So pretty much I'm just going to be real with myself, you know. I mean, obviously I'm putting it on the internet, but I'm not one of those types of people who just try and, you know, put forth a good front because it's going on the internet. You know, I mean, I'm not immune to failure. I'm not going to be immune to failure on the internet. So fucking, that shit happens, and that shit's the way I feel at times. And fucking, sometimes it's devastating. A lot of times, though, I'm on top of my game, and it feels like normal. It feels like, you know, I'm a beast. It feels like, you know, I could fucking run a marathon. And then other times, you know, you fucking, there are bad days where you just wake up and you're just like, dude, I don't know if I can fucking get out of bed. I don't know if I can take a shower. And I mean, you can't give in to that, because then fucking, you know, then it wins. But fucking, just some days you have bad days. Just some days are bad, and it's just tough. I mean, this isn't me looking for sympathy. I'm not trying to say like, fucking, you know, I called out of work yesterday because it was a fucking bad day, and I don't expect people to, oh, I'm sorry, fucking, you know, I don't expect people to coo and fucking awe me and shit like that. It's just me being fucking, it's just me being real. And you know, if anybody that ever watches this has some kind of major disease, I hope they take comfort in the fact that they know that fucking, they're not the only ones. Because I mean, it's fucking, one of my big things is to let people know that, you know, one of my big things is to let people know that anything that they go through, you know, fucking, other people have gone through it too, and so that there's somebody to relate. You know, there's never a sense of loneliness. I mean, obviously I just got through spouting that there is kind of a sense of loneliness, but there's a sense of loneliness in the sense that, you know, I have the disease and other people don't. But people have, you know, stepped in my shoes. There are people who have been through fucking major disease, and who have, you know, something that helps me is that when I walk into MGH and I know I'm in for a rough time for whatever reason, I know that people have walked those halls years before and who have been in just as rough, if not a rougher time than me. So I mean, I'm not the fucking first person to christen that hospital with the rough time, if you know what I'm saying. I mean, there have been people who fucking you know, who christened that hospital fucking years before. You know, there have been obviously people who've died in that hospital. And fucking, so every time I go in there and I know that there's some big shit coming, I know that there was some big shit coming for somebody else and they fucking dealt with it. And they, you know, manned up and they fucking took that shit. And it's helped me a lot. But, again, back to the topic at hand, you know, I tend to ramble in these videos, but initially, I tried to fucking, you know, lay out a format and kind of make a topic and shit. But I realized that that started to become kind of fake, and then that would take too much time. I mean, I don't have, you know, that much of an open schedule. I like to be able to lay some formatting down, but fucking now I just kind of shoot the breeze off the top of my head. It's just kind of, it's just why these things ramble a little bit. But yeah, I mean, so basically, just you know, I'm scared that I'm gonna lose, you know, my risky risk taking personality. That you know, it's no longer fun and games for me because it's medication and fucking sickness. You know, I mean, granted, I it's been mostly winter time since I've had the disease, in which case you don't go out much anyways. So hopefully in the summer maybe I'll be able to work shit around a little bit and maybe I will start going out more. But because maybe I just stayed in a lot because of the winter. But I mean it has cut a lot into my personal life. I mean I used to like to go out with friends, you know, go out to eat and shit like that. And now my diet is so rigid that, you know, going to going to get takeout now it's a lot different for me because before I could eat anything like obviously I wouldn't have fucking 19 Big Macs but you know you want to fucking you want you know an order of fucking sweet and sour chicken and you know some kind of rice and it's just like yeah let's fucking go for it and now it's just like what's in that rice you know is that good chicken or is that fucking cheap chicken? Like, is there anything wrong with that? You know, like what kind of spices did they use? You know, how did they cook it? What kind of breading is that? There's a lot more that you have to think about. You know, people think copper is just fucking, you know, oh, fucking, all you have to do is stay away from processed food and fucking, and you're good. Stay away from processed food and the major copper foods and you're good. But they don't realize that fucking there's a lot of spice that you have to stay away from. And there's a lot of fucking and processed food is a lot of fucking snack food and you know, a lot of takeout food, a lot of restaurant food is processed food. You know, it has salt in it and it has fucking other ingredients that you can't eat. And so fucking there are a lot of people who just think, oh, it's a fucking you know, it's just a good diet, you know. And those people, unfortunately, I don't want to say that they don't know what they're talking about because in essence, they do a little bit, but they don't realize that fucking, they've never been on a diet as probably not as strict as this. And if they have, the diet, the consequences haven't been as high. You know, fucking, one of my things that I like saying is that in the, in the back of my, or when somebody tells me that it's good to maintain my diet, and then it's just like I wish I could go on a diet like that, or like I've been on a diet like that. In the back of my head, it's just like, yeah, your diet is if you cheat, your diet, what does it do? It goes to your hips, or it goes to your ass, or it goes to your stomach. If I cheat, that shit goes to my liver, and it could kill me. So it's just like it's kind of like you take your little like fucking advice about the diet and you fucking go fuck yourself. It's not fucking, I don't say that to people's faces, but that's kind of what it is. Because when you approach somebody, like if I was legit like, all right, dude, you maintain the same diet as me and you deal with the fucking the responsibility and the consequences, and they're just like, oh, I cheated, and then I'm just like fucking, all right, dude, there's you know maybe you just hurt your liver a little bit now. So fucking maybe, you know, 10 more cheats and then you're in there for fucking surgery or something like that. I mean, I'm sure it's not fucking that detrimental, but I mean, not that quickly. Like, I'm sure it's more than 10 cheats or something like that. But it's just like fucking. It's just like somebody's just like, all right, I'll maintain the same diet, and then you approach them next week, and then they're just like, yo, I had one beer, and it's just like, all right, dude, you cheated. Now fucking you made your liver worse, and now who knows what the fuck the consequences are gonna be. You know, fucking, what if they really cheat and they fucking, binge drink for one day or something? Who knows if that's gonna fucking destroy part of their liver? I mean, if right now, if I binge drink, let's say I get wasted, you know, I don't know if that's gonna fucking, I don't know if that's gonna mean me closer to fucking needing a liver transplant. So fucking, the responsibility and the stakes are high as fuck. Um, and when people suggest, obviously they're just trying to relate and they're trying to make you feel less, ostracized and less alone. But it's kind of like, that's why I say it's one of the loneliest things, because people can relate in essence a little bit, but they can't relate fully unless they're in the same situation. You know what I'm saying? It's like when somebody's fucking starving in Somalia. People just like, yeah, dude, I've been really hungry, fucking. Even if they were at one point starving in their life, it's just like, yes, you might have been starving, but you've never, been starving and seen no end in sight. Those, unfortunately, the people that are starving in third world countries, you know, it's just not like food is just going to come to them. It's just like that's their life, and every mouthful of food that they get throughout their whole life is probably going to be a struggle to get. And so fucking I might be stuck in a cave or something where I'm starving, but I that's not the way my life is. I know that fucking eventually I'm gonna be rescued, and then I'm gonna get to fucking pig out and go to restaurants and fucking big time it at like fucking some steakhouse or something, and my starvation is gonna end. So I mean, when you try and relate as a normal person, it's not as effective as you think. But I mean, obviously, people enjoy, sick people, myself included, enjoy the sympathy and the fucking the attempts to relate, because nobody wants to be fucking alone. Nobody wants to be ostracized. But I mean, it's just people that come at you like they know what you're going through, like they fucking feel it in their bones that they know what you're going through, and they try and kind of tell you what to do a little bit. It's just like, dude, get the fuck out of here. It's just like, you take your advice and you go fuck yourself. But I mean, that's not to say that all advice is bad. I mean, obviously, I'll make a harsh statement and then I'll backpedal a little bit. But fucking, it's just, I mean, there are people who are so arrogant that they try and tell you what it is without any kind of like experience or any training. I mean, obviously, when my doctor tells me what it is, he might not have the disease that I have, but he's fucking done the research and he's gotten the training. So I respect that. But when some like friend or something like that tries to tell you like what it is, you're just like, yeah, okay. You'll fucking stomach it to their face, but in the back of your mind, it's just like fucking you don't know. And I mean, that's unfortunately a major part of having it. People don't realize that fucking surviving the disease is one thing, but fucking the personality changes and how the thoughts in your head are a major thing. And I mean, so I'm not surprised when you hear that somebody who survived cancer has to go to a therapist or something afterwards, because that shit, you gotta fucking talk that shit out. And this shit is helping me talk that shit out, which is one of the major reasons I'm doing it. But anyways, again, back to the topic at hand. I've kind of concluded it. Basically, it's just I don't want to lose that part of myself, because I like that. I like that fucking just get up and go, and I like that risk taking part of me, because fucking it's like I said, it's one of my better characteristics, and it's one of my fucking more exciting characteristics. Fucking the unexpected road trip when you have 2 or 3 days off in a row is fun. And, so are other trips. I'm not a real vacation dude. I'm not a fucking, I want to go to Zimbabwe, on my fucking summer vacation. That's not me, but, fucking, I want to go visit family in Martha's Vineyard, you know, for 3 days. I have to worry about, taking my medication. I have to worry about transportation. I have to worry about, maybe I'm stuck in, at the ferry crossing for 8 hours because of the ferry shit. And before, I just like, all right, dude, I'll fucking sleep on a bench. But now I gotta start thinking about, like, fucking, how is my medication going to react if it's, waiting with me for 8 hours? Do I have to run and get some ice? Do I have to fucking ask the ferry people to fucking refrigerate it for me? Do I have to fucking, you know, do I have to take the bus back home if I have to wait that long? Like, how do I fucking deal with that shit? And that shit fucking sucks because I'm no longer the self-contained unit as I once was. Fucking before, all I had to do was make sure that I had food in my stomach and, and a credit card or a debit card, and then I could end up in London, tomorrow. Obviously, I had responsibilities and shit, but it was just like fucking I could do almost anything. My life had so many opportunities or openings for fun and adventure, and now it's fucking I'm being linked, to a fucking kind of a boring and a steady and a rigid life and lifestyle, and that's painful. And fucking, if you want to talk to me about it, you can, but obviously it's hard to, once you have to really, really, really think about it. A lot of people aren't gonna fucking, take a Barney Stinson-esque, like, fucking road trip or bender and just fucking end up in some other country. But it's fun to think about. And then if you scale it back a little bit and you think, hey, fucking last year I went on a weekend road trip with, like, my boyfriend, and we just drove around and to fucking, a couple other states, and we fucking stayed at a couple motels. And that was fun. And it's just like, I probably can't do that now because, a lot of motels don't have refrigerators or they don't offer refrigeration. I can't spend that much time in the car because, I have to worry about my medication heating up. How maybe if I put it in a cooler, would it last? Yada, yada, yada. And even a trip like that, it's just something that I can no longer do, and that fucking sucks. You know, and the weakness the weakness that is now a part of my body is just it's very shitty, and it's very humbling because now I'm leashed kind of to my daily life. So I can't quickly change it like that. You know what I'm saying? Like before, if I wanted to do something in the middle of the night, I could. I mean, I'd be fucking sleepy the next day, but I'd be able to do it. But now I have trouble just fucking getting up in the morning just on a regular night's sleep because sleep is it's not the same for me, and I'll get into that in a different video. But basically, it's just in the morning I never feel refreshed, never. I could get 6, I could get 8, I could get 9, I could get 12. Some days if I'm really tired, I could get fucking 15 hours of sleep, and I'm never refreshed. You never wake up refreshed. You always wake up fucking beat to shit, and it's just like I don't understand it, and it's just something about like your body being fully relaxed, and then just all of a sudden just trying to snap it back into power mode, and it's just like your body's just like, yo, bro, this ain't happening. You gotta fucking power through, getting the engine started, and then you feel like shit while you're waking up, and then eventually, it starts to climb, and you start to feel a little bit better. I mean, eventually the climb, drops down when you get really tired again, but you don't. Before you might get some sleep, and you'd feel fucking, you'd wake up and you'd be at the top because you'd be refreshed, and then you'd hover there for a while, because you'd feel good, and then eventually you'd start to feel tired and you would decrease. But so you'd start up, that sleep would refresh you, so you'd start pretty high, But you know, I always start now down low, and I have to slowly power through this part. This climb is difficult because you have to fucking power through that shit. You know, throughout this whole climb, your body's telling you, go back to bed, go back to bed, go back to bed, fucking just sit around, go to sleep, relax. You don't want to go to work, you don't fucking want to shower, you don't want to do this shit, you don't want to fucking go to the doctor, you don't want to do anything. And you just have to be like, no, fucking no, bro, I gotta do that shit. I gotta do that shit. And then finally you get to like here, and you're just like, alright, dude, this is where the day has started. This is where I can fucking, you know, I can do my shit like a normal person a little bit. But fucking that climb can be fucking brutal. And I mean, my schedule was suffering because before I didn't have that great scheduling to begin with because I always fucking stayed up too late and shit like that, and I always maxed myself out. But you know, I'd still be able to just fucking, when you wake up, there's a moment where you just gotta be like, there's a quick thought like, you know, fucking get up. You know, it's just like, get up. And then you were just like, and like I'd do that, and I'd be like, oh, I want to go back to sleep, and there'd be like a voice inside of me that was just like, dude, get up, and I'd fucking get up. I wouldn't want to get up, but I'd fucking get up. And now it's just like, fuck, I want to go back to sleep, and the voice is just like, get up, and I'm just like, dude, I am fucking beat, and it's just fucking, now I just, unfortunately, I don't have the willpower to get up as much as I did. I mean, it's, my get up and go has been fucking beaten down a bit, and fucking, I hope that shit is fucking comes back. I mean, I'm fighting it every fucking morning I wake up, and I know my bosses at work are probably like, this fucking dude is always fucking late. But I mean, I know that they know I'm trying, and fucking, I'm thankful for that. You know, they've been supportive of me. I mean, it can't be easy working with me because of fucking, I'll come back from like fucking 2 days off, and I'll stumble in there like I haven't slept in, you know, a week. And they look at me and they're just like, fucking, you know, instead of being like, this fucking dude, they just, in the back of their heads, they're probably like, this dude's probably having a rough time. So I mean, I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for a lot of things, but I'm not thankful for Wilson's disease. So I'm not like that dude up behind the music who was riding in his like the rock star's car and who like lost the ability to fucking use his legs, and he's just like, dude, you saved my life, bro. I'm not sure if you've seen that shit, but fucking that was fucking, I think it was on an episode of Family Guy where they made fun of it too, but it's not like that, dude. Wilson's disease has changed me. You know, it's probably changed my personality for the better, maybe in some ways not, but I'm not gonna say it's you know, made me better. So I mean, I'd like to think that I was always a pretty good guy, always a stand-up guy, you know, trying to do what's right, and fucking Wilson's disease might have shown me some new viewpoints, you know, made me more compassionate and empathetic, but it's also fucking changed me a lot in negative ways too. So I mean, this video series is probably slowly gonna get into that shit and stuff like that. I mean, if you ever have a question about anything, or if you want me to do a specific video about a topic, you can make requests. I mean, obviously I'm not really big, and I've only probably got a couple viewers. So I mean, it's pretty much just fun for me, you know. So I do take requests, or if you want me to fucking, you know, post something of yours, it's fine too. You know, I could take a day off. So I mean, pretty much. Anyways, that's my video, and I appreciate you listening. I know I tend to ramble, but thanks for sticking with me. Thanks.